Hey, Mr. B here. Welcome to my page. This is my first video of Mr. B's Music Nuggets. Primarily, we're going to be centered on a guitar. As you can see behind me, I am a guitar player. I play around on drums, keyboards, and bass enough probably to be dangerous, but the guitar is my primary instrument. I've been playing for 53 years, and after 53 years, you tend to learn a few things along the way, and so I'm hoping to share some of the things that I've learned over the years, and little tidbits, and if we're not careful, maybe even a little bit of wisdom. Who knows? We'll see. The goal is to make reasonably short videos, 10 minutes-ish, give or take. I don't want to make them too long. If you're anything like me, unless the video is really interesting, 20 minutes in and I'm like, I'm just going to go play Halo. So I want to keep them kind of short and sweet, as they say, and hopefully informative. So you guys will come back and check out the next video. We are going to focus primarily on a guitar. And I'm looking at probably people who are from like beginner to maybe intermediate. I'm not a guitar master by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't know everything about music theory. I've learned a lot over the years. I wonder if anybody really knows everything there is to know about music theory. Good question. Anyway, we are going to be discussing music theory in videos, where things come from, why is this way, and amongst other things. And as I said, I'm going to try to keep them interesting and reasonably short. So for my first video, what I'd like to do is address a couple questions that I've been asked quite a lot over the years. The first one is, do I need to be able to read music to play? And the answer is no, you don't. Bottom line, with one small caveat. If your goal is to play in like a philharmonic orchestra, something like that, then yes, you need to be able to read sheet music like you could read a second grade book. But generally speaking, to get together with some friends or to just learn on your own, play and sing, or whatever level you want to take it to, that's one of the great things about the guitar, is there are a variety of different levels you can go to, depending on what you want to do. I've known guys that play professionally, the gigging musicians. They were the troubadour type, and John Denver, James Taylor sort of a thing. They play and sing. Couldn't play guitar solo to save their life, and they didn't care. But they made money gigging as as solo acoustic musicians who play and sing. And so that's one of the avenues that you can take if that's what you want to do. And all the way up to being a screaming lead guitar player and all of that stuff, and a lot of places in between, and all of those places in between are perfectly fine as well. So one thing I am going to assume is that your basic open chords, G, C, D, A minor, E minor, A, E. I'm going to assume that you know those things. But other than that, I'm not really going to assume anything. So some of you people that have been playing longer, some of the videos you're going to go, yeah, I already know that, and that's cool. That's great. And other things, maybe you learn something. Let's hope, right? But about the music, no, you don't need to be able to read music. And just to give you an example, here's a list of famous people who either couldn't or can't, as the case may be, read music. Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, B.B. King, Little Richard, The Beatles, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eddie Van Halen. None of these guys could read music. And yet you notice there were several guitar gods in there, right? As well as two on the short list of probably the greatest songwriters ever, John Lennon and Paul McCartney. So no, you don't need to be able to read music. Second question is, do I need to learn music theory to play? And again, the answer is no, you don't. Now, before some of y'all get all into comments saying, well, anything you play, you're using music theory. That's absolutely correct. It's absolutely correct. But you don't have to know that. Here's a good example, I think, which is me. I'm primarily self-taught. I started playing in the early 70s, little small town in Missouri, uh, way before the internet. And I had no go-to people by and large. Occasionally, somebody would come be around for a while that I could ask questions of, but a lot of times I didn't even know what questions to ask. So I didn't learn as much as in retrospect I could have had I known what questions to ask. But I started just learning chords and playing songs that I knew, since I couldn't read music. But if I knew the song, then I could strum those chords from the chord diagram, and that's how I got started. A little later, I started learning guitar solos off of records. I'd learn them note for note. And so for a while, with my buddies, I was like, "Hey man, let's jam this song." "Oh man, I don't know that song." "Well, what songs do you know?" "I know this one and that one and this one and that one." "All right, we'll jam those." But then, as those of you who have been playing for a while, I'm sure, are aware of, I started noticing recurring patterns. Hey man, that lick is an awful lot like this lick over here. For those that don't know, lick is a pattern, a combination of notes. It's guitar lingo. And that lick is that's exactly the same as that one over there. So I began picking up on that, and then taking those patterns, and I began to improvise with them. And that's when it starts to get fun, is when, you're not having to play something that you've memorized perfectly. Somebody can just start playing, you go, okay, you're in the key of A, and you just start playing. That's when it starts to get fun. And you don't have to be like super awesome, somebody that would embarrass Eddie Van Halen on stage, to have fun with that. And that's where everybody, you think Eddie Van Halen was Eddie Van Halen when he first started playing, right? He wasn't the guitar player that we saw burst onto the scene in '78 with Eruption and all of that. He had to start as well. He started somewhere, and he learned, and that's where he got. And so, and he didn't read music. So, if Eddie can do it, then you probably can too. Maybe you're not going to get to Eddie's level. That's okay. Get to your level, because that's the only one that really matters. But you don't need to learn music theory. I had come across a band called Triumph along the way, and was blown away. Rick Emmett is an awesome guitar player. Check him out if you haven't heard of him. Power trio out of Canada. And I'm thumbing through a Guitar Player magazine one day, and I come across an article on the pentatonic scale by Rick Emmett, and I'm like, wow, man, I'm going to buy this. Because if I could play a little bit like this guy, I'm going to be a better guitar player. So I took it home, and I'm going through all the charts and everything, and I'm like, wait a minute. I've been doing this for years. I never knew. I had been playing the pentatonic scale. I didn't even know there was a pentatonic scale. I had been using music theory. I had never heard the words music and theory used together in the same sentence, much less right next to each other. So I didn't know any of that stuff. I was using it, but I didn't know I was using it. So that's why I say you don't need to learn music theory to get started playing. Get started playing, and then kind of start learning this stuff as you go along, and I do recommend that you learn, what goes into things, because it's just going to make your playing better as you go on. So, okay, well, that's those two questions. I appreciate you checking out the video. If you found this informative, or if you're optimistic and you think maybe some of the future things that I mentioned we're going to be talking about may be informative, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. And my goal is to try to make a video a week, maybe more than that, depending on what my time is with my day job and family and all that other stuff. So we'll see what happens, but my goal is at least once a week. So, yeah. So thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.